game number 3. Both of these players are, of course, tied up 1-1. Starting down here at the bottom right side of the map, representing Evil Geniuses, the Terran player that just won, it is EGXenocider. Young and dangerous, man. Young and wild. I'm trying to imagine right now, like, EGXenocider, like, what's going to become of him? Like, as long as he, of course, sticks with SC2, I imagine he could become just as talented in almost any other game. But at that age, you have so much dexterity in your decision making. But if he sticks with SC2, man, imagine him in a couple of years where he's going to be at. He's already performing pretty well. With a couple more years under his belt, a little bit more practice, like I wish I was at his age and had his skill level, because you have so much time to develop, you have so much time to improve. You still are at that age where you're not exactly under a lot of pressure in your life yet, so you don't have to make really some of the hard choices. It's really nice when you have like that family support at that age, and you know, due to that, you're going to be able to, I feel like, perform and practice and have a little bit less stress in your life. So in a couple of years, once he starts going to college, we'll see if that changes. But I mean, hey, even guys like coLHendralisk, you have the Moose Gills of the world, they're all still performing really well while in college as well. So yeah, you have to account for that. You have to account for all that. It really does make a difference. And it just is generally possible, as you can see. Alright, so Reaper Expand once again coming out from Xeno. Meanwhile, over here we do have, of course, Hendralisk. Going this time around with the gasless opener. Might not see that same influx of lings and banelings as we did. Somebody asking, isn't this the channel with the boobs earlier today? Not that I remember of. Not that I remember. I don't remember. I'm like I could check Twitter. I don't think I promised anything like that. I could link you a picture if you want, man. The internet's a beautiful place if you want to see, you know, stuff like that. Very easily accessible. Factory getting added on, reactor underway, and it looks like for the most part, Xeno's going to be opening up the same way. Third CC going down this time around, going back to the game 1 option of the third CC, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm starting to notice, actually, this is kind of a weird thing. Yeah, I'm going to esports confessional right here, but. The more every time I'm starting to broadcast in Russian and also speaking in Russian and whatnot, the worse off my phonetics get with English. Like this is kind of like a speech therapy type of thing. Like my mouth like works like a little bit different. Like where I like place the tongue and everything. So. I don't know what it is, man. Like all this like recent like Russian like first person streams and broadcasting alongside with English has kind of like been it's taken a hammer at my English language a little bit. Like I feel like as I'm like trying to enunciate something, like my mouth like placement isn't like always correct, and it's that type of stuff that reminds you of like when you first like are learning a different language, you can't like exactly enunciate like the way. You know, you normal, I guess, fluent people would. Like, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like I'm almost trying like specifically focusing on it just to be able to force it out of me. Hashtag bilingual problems, man. All right, so the stim's underway. We have Hellions getting added on. Third orbital is just about to finish up. Floating over the factory over to the other side, and of course gonna continue the reactor upgrade on it as well. Gonna allow this barracks to be built on top of this reactor, so gonna allow him for quicker unit production. Other side of the map gonna come across, spots no third base, no third hatch. 3 queens right now, and of course those Evo chambers doing a pretty nice wall off, so it's hard to break up there. It really is. +1/+1 underway right away as they finish up. Roach 1 done, so we should probably see a couple roaches come out to be able to at least help push this off for the time being. eBay is just about done right now for Xeno. Now this is one of the things about HKES. He doesn't mind going for quicker upgrades than his opponent. And that's the same thing what I mentioned about earlier, like when I watch HKES play. He reminds me a little bit of Suppy. Suppy's the same way. Like, he doesn't mind getting a little bit quicker upgrades. Like, usually when I watch Suppy, he gets some of the quickest, like 1-1, 2-2, like especially his 2-2 timing is like really quick. Pretty crazy to think about. Now, HKES still is yet to get a third base specifically, but he is breaking out of these rocks at I guess the west side of his natural. Bringing a drone over here, and he's going to take this third hatch. Very interesting. I've seen this a couple times, and it's been fairly successful. I would say actually 50-50. It really just depends on where your opponent is or where you're at on the map. Like, at some point right now, Xeno's going to have to talk to himself and be like, hey, well, he doesn't have a third base over here. He's either one alt-inning me or he's got a third base somewhere else. It's one or the other. Third orbital lands. Xeno's starting to produce the bunker over here. He's getting his 1-1 underway. Combat shields. He's already actually transitioned into tanks as well, and this might not be a direct reaction to knowing that there's potential roaches out on the map, but it does help. Like, if you guys have seen, like, I feel like we're gonna have a little bit of a back and forth in the meta in terms of Terran playstyles for versus Zerg. Like, we don't see a lot of mech, but with Bio now a lot recently, we've seen a lot more of a comeback of Widow Mines just due to the buff, but at the same time, there was a good portion when Marine Tank actually had to come back as well, so Marine Tank very favorable by Terrans. Pulling some SCVs to be able to hold off the push. We'll push back the Roach influx of units for now. HKES right now getting his +2, burrow upgrade just about done. Tank is finished up, roaches come up. Tank fire comes out, you can't explain that. +1 Hydro range, +2 Carapace as well, right now as we've seen the production tab. 4th hatch underway as well for HKES. And this is generally the premise, like if you're going to take a really late third base, you got to take a pretty quick follow 4th base as well to be able to keep up. Now this is a little bit of a cutesy play coming out from HKES. He's actually walking under the third base, did a little bit of hold micro, but I'm not sure if he got too much done right there. He just lost quite a few roaches. He's going to lose a few more as we see. Well, 13 workers. It's not too bad, but you gave up 18 roaches for it. Worth? I'm not sure. Now you're going to lose a few more roaches. Uh-oh. Poor scans spotting for all the burrowed roaches. Now we're up to 26. To me, now that's not worth it, because you just dumped all of your forces for a few SCVs. That's in my book, it's not worth it really. So right now, while Xeno's pushing out across the map, he's got to reconvene. He's got to rebuild everything right over here, and I don't know if he's going to have enough. Hydras are okay, but only when they have some roach support as well. And when they're naked, man, those Marines rip them apart. So Xeno gonna micro on through, takes out some of the drones first of all, and now he takes out the third hatch as well. Starting to press his way up into the natural, and this is kind of cool because of this positioning. He's able to almost, in the sense, elevator his tanks up the ramp, gets the low ground position on him, so if anything comes up from the high ground, he's going to be able to paw shot them out as well. Xeno, smooth criminal you are, snipes down the natural hatch, gonna take out the extractor, Hydralisk 10 falls, and at this point, if you're HKES, you gotta be just like, man, damn, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have dumped all those roaches, because imagine right now if you had like, say 26 or so roaches along with this force, or that initial Hydra force. Like, that would have been able to fight. That would have been able to probably handle and push Xeno back, but due to the fact that it just wasn't the case, wasn't able to for the time. Now Xeno is going to run home just due to the overproduction of units right now for HKES. He'll have to respect that for the time being. More tanks underway, +2/+2 upgrade underway as well. Henry's trying to retake the natural hatch as well as also grab a brand new 4th hatch for himself. Natural 3rd hatch location for the time being will be a little bit safe, but I mean, once more medevacs comes out, once a lot of this Bioforce does get healed up, I expect another push coming out from Xeno. There isn't really a lot of reason for him not to. Just keep pressure up on your opponent. You know you took out some hatches, you know you forced out a lot more units. The only thing I think he's waiting for is just tanks, because, well, tanks are such a beautiful buffer in this game. It's tough to not live without. It's tough to live without him. It's tough to fight Roach Hydra without him, especially in general. You really love that splash damage. It's a game changer. Now, if Xeno does take a 4th base, I would expect him to take it here at the frontal location. He, of course, also does have a drop coming over here to the left side of the map. Of course, won't find anything here really except creep tumors, but of course he can clear that out. Well, stims up and finds an extractor. Meanwhile, over here, spots a link, going to be heading up to the top right side of the map. Zoop. Picking those bad boys up. Roach Hydras are starting to freak out. They're going everywhere right now. Ling is burrowed, so you actually gave him a little bit of vision as these units were walking around back and forth. Xeno right now is still playing very patient because, well, his opponent knows where he's at, so he's playing a little bit of mind games. He knows how to respect. He doesn't exactly want to fly in. One way or another, something should probably be there in concept. And now we do have Spore Crawlers, so good static defense positioning by those. This 4th hatch looks like it got canceled. I don't think it was under attack though. I really don't think Xeno pushed up that far. It had to get canceled. Or unless something minor came up to it and poked it down. Now units are going to be crossing paths, actually missing each other for the time being. We have a lot of roaches coming at the 3rd base of Xeno. But meanwhile, a good chunk of the Bioforce as well as pushing up to the rebuilding 3rd hit base over here. Ah, scans, but doesn't take out the creep, so close. Well, he's just going to go for it for now. Right now, Xeno back at home, probably best for him to lift up, start rallying everything within the main base and evacuate the natural for the time being. In terms of forces for himself, he's already got more than enough to be able to push through here and do a significant amount of damage. Very hard to base trade in this scenario if you're HKES. Here come the roaches. They're trying to get up there just in time. They're breaking through, and actually Henry doing a wonderful job in terms of prioritizing getting through into the main base quicker than anything else. So roaches should be able to pop on through, even though the SCV buffer might not be all enough. Now, where are the Hydras in this game? The Hydras are back over here. They're going to try to take this force out right here, but he's going to be losing some of them along the way. Marine's starting to go down. How much is he going to be able to actually clear out? Well, it clears out quite a bit, and there goes that Marine force for now. Of course, the advantage right now for Xeno, he is able to lift everything away. Meanwhile, HKES unfortunately has to watch a lot of this die, and now the rest of these Hydra forces are not going to be technically enough to be able to deal with all of this. The Xeno, there we go, I was about to say, I'm still waiting for the lifts. He finally does go through with it. In terms of buildings, we of course still have some of those extractors that he's actually taking care of right now. Good split up, just minor unit splitting, but just enough to be able to do the necessary damage that you need. And now coming over to the 4th hatch, 4th hatch goes down as well. Hydro's den is left. Where are the buildings? What is he trying to take? He doesn't take anything. HKES just goes down. I don't think he had 2 workers. He had 2 workers but didn't take anything with him in time.